Bro, we are fucking spoiled when it comes to heavy music in 2025. For the longest time, local bands were inaccessible. You'd have to hear them live, you'd have to see them on stage to even know they existed. The best, the heaviest things that you would see are going to be like on a video game soundtrack, on the radio, or maybe, just maybe, you'd have a really cool friend that would let you have a couple CDs that they copped from the shows they would go to, or the things they found on their own free will in the digging of the crates at the record store, and things like Bull Moose or Newberry Comics. But now, in 2025, some of the best heavy music of all time is right in your backyard, a couple streets away from your house. Hell, it could be the guy that you work with who works in the back room. His band could be your new favorite heavy band. And it's awesome. New England has always been the mecca of heavy, in my eyes. I mean, I'm a little biased when it comes to it, but back in the day, we'd have Spies Like Us, we had Anchor Lines, we had Ballast, we had Imagine the Escape, we had Promise Me Empires. We had Lydia Ayer, we had Caulfield, we had Constructs. And while some of those bands from that generation still go, bands like Conforza, bands like Drive By Bukkake, The Summoned, while they still get to hang around and play these shows and continue their legacy, this new shit that's been brewing the last couple years is fucking insane. We're going to be talking a whole lot about heavy music this episode, so I hope you're ready. Grab a drink, grab breakfast, grab lunch, grab beer, whatever the fuck you need to chill. Sit down. We're about to kill some time. Let's go.
What you doing, son?
Nothing. Just chilling. Killing.
True.
Attaboyoli's how you say it in Cherokee.
Oh, well, pardon my French, but I'll be damned.
Walker told me I had AIDS.
Nah, hold on. I love doing these. One more.
Suggesting new names to use for the Pokemon games. Pokemon MILF and DILF. Pokemon Frat Bro and Goth Girl. Pokemon Black and White. Pokemon Fat Man and Little Boy. Pokemon and Ass. Pokemon 9 and 11.
So, in order to keep things fresh in my mind as I'm thinking about them, I'm recording this, at least this part, on Tuesday. Now, Tuesday, as a lot of people, at least in America, know, is what a lot of are referring to as the day of the rapture, where people who God chooses to be real followers will float up into the sky and they'll join the kingdom of heaven. But me being a man of sound mind, I don't believe any of that nonsense. And I live in a city of, unfortunately, a lot of fucking crazy people, and a lot of religious zealots, and a lot of people who call themselves followers. So I'm making most of this nice day, walking around in my city right now, trying to see how crazy is crazy. Will I see anybody waiting outside, either clothed or naked, waiting to float up into the sky? I don't know, but I want to make the most of this good weather we're having, the need for me to walk to the shop and get myself a nice iced coffee. Why not be on the lookout, make things a little more interesting? Been outside for maybe 10 minutes so far, and I've seen one group of people standing outside. Now, are they waiting to float up into the sky? I don't know. Could they be homeless people? There's a good chance. There's a lot of them around here. Could they just be some regular-ass people? Also, a very good chance. But I'm going to keep an eye on them. If those motherfuckers start stripping down naked, I know what's up. It's either the yin or the yang. They're either going to heaven or they're having a fucking orgy in public. But I digress. It's starting to get busy out here. So let's get back to the topic at hand. Local music and unsigned music has never been as good as it is right now. We got bands across the board, across the country, in different countries, putting out things that would rival anything that came from a major label. Case in point, this week, Blood Tithe put out a new album titled Blood for the Starving God. Hits after hits after hits after hit. I'm gonna do this 7 times. After hit after hit. I think that was 7. I wasn't exactly counting, but it feels right. Now, Blood Tithe has never put out anything that is mid or bad. It's been nothing but bangers. If you looked at the Instagram, I have posted a pic. I have posted a clip of one of the songs off the new album, and I think everybody should check that out if they're into heavy music. But not every band is as lucky to do nothing but bangers. Today's topic of the podcast is least favorite album of favorite bands. What's an album from your favorite band where you were listening to everything before that and were like, this album fucking slaps, and then the new album drops and you're just like, oh honey, no, baby, no, what is you doing? Why'd you do that, baby? Why? Unfortunately for me, there's quite a few that fit that narrative. I am almost at the coffee shop right now, so let me just order, find a place to sit my fat ass down, and we can get right into some of these listener and fan submissions for what some of their favorite bands put out that really stunk, and we're gonna get into a couple of mine, because I got some opinions, bro. So, big update on Rapture Watch. I saw 2 people on my way to the coffee shop and on the way back. One of them was dancing on the side of the road talking about come on heaven, come on heaven. Just kind of just like jiggling with a weird seductive face. Could be satire. I don't think this city is good enough at comedy to pull that off. They are pretty fucking crazy. Also, there's this weird alleyway that leads up from the main business district of downtown up to the library, and there's a bunch of like decorative benches and stuff that they made. They say it's for art, but it's really to just like fuck over the homeless. And there were people standing right in there just looking upwards, just staring upwards. Could be drugs. Could be drugs. Could be crazy religious zealots and fanatics. I will not put it over anything. Those are the closest things I got to weird-ass people looking to ascend. None of that's going to happen. They're probably just going to look up at the sky and some person's just going to hit them with a car. Such is life down here. But on the way back after seeing those people, I reached peak hipster status. I have a gray dad hat that says The People Under the Stairs, you know, the horror movie, The People Under the Stairs, one of my favorite horror films of all time, which is supposedly getting a remake. Don't know if it was scrapped or not. Gonna have to look into that. And then I'm wearing a shirt that said, I'd rather be watching the 1999 cult classic Drop Dead Gorgeous, starring Kirsten Dunst, Denise Richards, and Allison Janney. That is one of my favorite movies of all time. And just those 2 things together, pretty fucking hipster. But I'm also wearing my glasses, finally. And I just went to a place and got an $8 espresso tonic. And now I'm on my way to find a nice place in a park so I can podcast outside. What has happened to me? But I digress. I have a good amount of submissions from listeners and fans and supporters and people that I fuck with, and they want to tell you about different albums from bands that they like that just did not make the mark. And as I said before, I have a good amount of those myself. I'll get into them at the very end. I didn't really watch many movies for the first time this week or last week. So we relied heavy on the music. But the music has been good, and the music has been plenty. So we got things to talk about at the end. We have things to talk about right now. Let's get right the fuck in it. What are some albums that suck? Now, I got a couple from Facebook, and they deal with some really mainstream artists that pretty much everybody will know in one way, shape, or form. And I've never really fucked with Marilyn Manson too much. I know the hits. I never dug deep into the B-sides or the hidden gems or any of that shit. I haven't really followed him since I got out of middle school. So I don't know for myself, but my buddy Anthony says about pretty much half of what Marilyn Manson puts out is hot garbage. He says he's a fan, but half of it is incredible and other half is shit. Now, I know Tainted Love, I know Dope Show, I know the Sweet Dreams cover. I think that's about it. And if everything other than those is hot garbage, I'll take your word for it. I really don't want to see for myself. That's not really a band or an artist that I go, you know what? I'm feeling like listening to some fucking Marilyn Manson today. No, thank you. But John, however, John suggests that Van Halen 3 is a shit album. I don't know what songs are on it. I can probably do some research after the fact, but growing up, I fucked heavy with Van Halen. My mom was a big Van Halen fan. I'm more of a David Lee Roth Van Halen than Sammy Hagar Van Halen fan. Though I will say, that song Ice Cream Man does come up in my mind pretty often for reasons I cannot explain. Sam on Threads says he thinks Korn and Rage Against the Machine kind of fell off after their first album, but thinks it's more of a sophomore slump thing. And I don't know if I agree, but I definitely agree that a lot of bands fall victim to the sophomore slump. I feel like they put everything they have into that first album because that's what's going to get them noticed, or at least they hope so. And then if it gets met with success, they either go, okay, well, we'll kind of keep doing what that did. And in turn, they either overstay their welcome by just doing the same thing again when their sound doesn't need to continue like that. Or they try to do something different and it just doesn't work out for them. Not every band can be like AC/DC and have the same album being repeated time after time after time for fucking 50 years. The account at Kurt Jangle on Threads says Zow's Parade of Chaos. He knows many people like that, but for him, it just doesn't work out. You can't get into it. Zao has been a band that has been talked about in my circles for quite some time, but I just never pressed play. I've never listened to a Zao song. Maybe that changes tonight. Maybe after I finish this podcast, I'll check it out. Maybe I'll have the same exact opinion as you do. Maybe not. I don't know. But with it being talked about as much as it is, you should probably check them out. There's a lot of bands like that. As much as I like new music, I'm very much a creature of habit. It takes a lot for me to check out new stuff, especially if they're older bands. And lastly, Jaden from Instagram says, not exactly my favorite, but I'm a firm believer that everything from Flower Boy onward from Tyler the Creator is great. Well, it's great that you have an opinion, and I appreciate you telling me your opinion, but you're wrong, and I hate you. You don't fuck with Edgy Tyler, okay? Edgy Tyler is untouchable. The dude was just out of his fucking mind, being like, I don't like dudes, I swear to God, I don't like dudes. This is how much I don't like dudes, what a guy who likes dudes be saying and doing this.
I'm a fucking walking paradox. No, I'm not. Threesomes with a fucking triceratops.
Yo, I'm a fucking homosexual.
As far as hip-hop goes, those early Tyler albums and songs are fucking head-banging anthems. I will never not put over those fucking albums. But as for me, I think there's been no band in my life with a bigger impact and a longer running track record of nothing but bangers than Circa's Survive. I mean, you got Juturna in 2005. You got On Letting Go in 2007. You got Blue Sky Noise in 2010. Then you got Violent Waves in 2012, Dissensus in 2014, The Amulet in 2017, and then it takes you all the way to 2022 for you to put out a stinker. Every one of those albums is like nothing but fucking hits. Just beautifully crafted, technical, post-hardcore, emo, insert genre here bullshit. With beautiful vocals, twinkling guitars, insane drum work, really cool and thoughtful lyrics, and then there's Two Dreams in 2022. And while all those other albums had all those redeeming qualities, it seems Two Dreams just had Anthony Green. I'm sure it was a collaborative effort between everybody in the band, but besides his vocals, it literally just sounded like a keyboard preset. Like, it sounded emotionless, passionless. Didn't sound like Circa Survive. Didn't sound like there was a single fucking instrument besides like keyboard or electronic generated stuff. And I know we just came off the COVID pandemic, and you know, maybe not everybody was available. Maybe you had to do the best at limited resources. I get it. But to hype it up that much and to cap off such a long fucking run with that dog shit, how dare you? And I love Anthony Green, I do. And I heard many rumors about why they disbanded, and you know, what an album to disband on, you know. I at this point, I'd like to think that they heard that album and was like, maybe it's better if we just do our own thing. Another band that I feel had such a good track record of albums and then just dropped the ball completely. Not only dropped the ball, but like dropped it and then kicked it and then ran over to it and spit on it, is Dance Gavin Dance. Strong stuff from Johnny Craig, strong stuff from Kurt Travis, strong stuff from Tillian Pearson, even though he is a fucking creep, and now not so much. And it seems like they kicked out Johnny for substance abuse and ripping people off. Justified. They kicked out Tillian for accusations and substance problems. And I guess they just didn't vibe with him a lot of the time. He's too much of a diva, which I could totally get. And then Kurt Travis wasn't kicked out. He was like, you know what? I'm better than y'all. I'm going to leave and do my own thing and form a band that's kind of like you guys, but like not a bunch of babies. And then after all this time being a band, they're like, we're going to bring our friend Andrew on here. And Andrew is a great front man. for his band. He came in and I was like, oh hell yeah, I fuck with his stuff. He's a great frontman. He can perform, he can sing, he can do all this stuff. And then it's just like, what if we sucked all the charisma out of Dance Gavin Dance and tried to write another album? And that's what this bullshit is. I don't know. I wasn't the biggest fan of the last album, but this one far surpasses that in terms of poop from a butt ranking. This is just not good. And they got George Clinton on this shit and still managed to make it suck. How do you fumble something like that? Shame on you. Hey, you know, some bands, they have that good first album, everything after that, complete trash. Some bands, nothing but gold until they make it to the very end of the cliff. They wiggle their butt and they Scrooge McDuck it straight into the garbage can. I mean, it sucks that so many bands can't just thrive all the time, and at some point in time they dip their toes in the trash. But on the flip side, there's some bands that I feel are never gonna dip their toes in the trash. Just constant bangers. Because Bermuda just dropped a new track recently, and goddamn does this one just tickle a part of my brain that needs tickling. Cultist Purge is the newest song by Bermuda, and is their first song that they dropped in like 7, maybe 8 years. I don't remember if I did the math correctly. But this surpassed my expectations for a new Bermuda song. A lot of the time, if a band takes more than 5 years to drop a new single, their style has decreased. They went butt rock. They got rusty. They no longer sound as good or as heavy as they once did. Not Bermuda, though. They came back, they grabbed that shotgun, they blew somebody's metaphorical face straight off, and they said, "We're back, motherfuckers. Hold on to your butts." Now, is this just a teaser, and we gotta wait like another fucking year before they drop something else? Or are we getting something in another month, and then another month from that, and then like December or January, we get a new Bermuda album finally for the first time since like 2017. I don't know, but what I'm saying is I'm excited for whatever they drop next, and hopefully it lives up to this, because this was a banger. Cultist Purge is out now on all streaming platforms. It's a hell of a comeback for Bermuda. Definitely check it out. Another band that just dropped new music is New Hampshire's own Iron Gate. They have a new song called Pressure Scar, and they had big expectations to live up to. That last song, Ego Trip, was a straight up ass beater. And I'm like, bro, I can listen to this and I can commit some fucking crimes. There is nothing heavier than this. But they was like, yo, hold my drink. I'm about to learn you something real quick. And they put out another fucking heater. Here's a clip. That shit dropped today. It was out a couple days ago on Slam Worldwide, but it's now out today. And since I'm recording this on Tuesday and you are listening to it on Friday, that means this shit's already out on streaming platforms everywhere. So as soon as this ends in about like 2 minutes, you need to shut this shit down, go to YouTube, go to Spotify, go to wherever, and check out Pressure Scars by Iron Gate, because that shit fucking slaps. And last but not least, a little self-promotion. Tomorrow, Wednesday, once again, you're listening to this on Friday, it's already out. I'm dropping a new song, and it's the last single before the album drops October 24th. But this new song is called Bud Dwyer. It is another angry political rap song by Kill Murray, because that's all I know how to fucking do. And it's featuring my friend Visions, who is a great poet and lyricist from the area. So definitely check that out. It's going to be on YouTube. It's going to be on Spotify, Apple Music, all that shit. I just put together a little visualization video that's going to be on my personal YouTube. So definitely check that out. Kill Murray, Bud Dwyer, featuring Visions. Now that's all I gotta say. Check out all of my links. Kill Murray 603 on Instagram, on Threads, on Blue Sky, on literally wherever. And then I have wrestling stuff at Lariat 603 and the Indie Movement. And now the podcast has its own Instagram and Threads account. So definitely go follow Killing Time with KM. And that's it. Go stream those motherfucking songs like I just plugged, because they deserve that shit. Have a good night.